Okay, Honors Math, Period 3. This is part 2 of the exam review session. So we're going to start with weighted averages. Here is problem number 1. Please pause the video, take a few minutes to work this problem out. Okay, so the first thing I did was I set up my chart. So it says that we are trying to make a mixture of 45 gallons of a 48% solution. So therefore, here's my mix on the bottom. I am using a 72% and an 18% and mixing those together. Because I know I have a total of 45 gallons of the mixture, that means there has to be X of the 72% and 45 minus X for the 18%. Of course, you could have those switched. So I defined my variables. X is the 72%, 45 minus X is the 18%. Next thing I did was I wrote my equation, 0.72x plus 0.18 times 45 minus x equals 0.48 times 45. So I did the distributive property and multiplied on the right-hand side. So now I have 0.72x minus 0.18x, which is 0.54x. I'm going to subtract 8.1 from both sides. That gives me 13.5. I'm going to divide both sides by 0.54. When I do that, I get 25 as my answer. So that means that we need 25 gallons of the 72% solution, and then 45 minus 25, I need 20 gallons of the 18%. Okay, here's problem number 2, so please go ahead and read number 2. Go ahead and work it out yourself, and then come back here and I will go over the problem. Okay, so first of all, and I'm sorry my writing's not working very well, so my stylus, I'm doing the best I can with it. So in my chart, I have adult and kids. Adult tickets were $31.50, kids are $21.25. I have X amount of tickets for kids, 20 minus X for the adults. I defined my variables. I know there are 20 total tickets that are going to equal 548. So my equation is 3150 times 20 minus X plus 2125X equals 548. So at this point, I did the distributive property, and I got 3150 times 20 is 630. 3150 times negative x is minus 3150x plus 2125x equals 548. When I combined my x's, it came out to be negative 10.25x. I subtracted 630 from both sides. 548 minus 630 is negative 82. Last step, divide both sides by negative 10.25. And my final answer is 8. So that means I have 8 kid tickets and I have 12 adult tickets. 20 minus X. Okay, so there's number 2. Okay, so for the next one, which was not in the first review, is graphing. So I'm giving you the equation negative 4x minus 3y equals negative 12. I want you to find the x and y intercept and graph it. Now, I will tell you, you'll have to have graph paper, or you can just make what I call fake graph paper, like I'm doing on my video right now, or you could use your iPad on Notability, but it'd be hard to watch the video too. All right, so go ahead and pause the video and go ahead and do this problem. Okay, so what I did was, the first thing I did was I divided everything by -1 because I want standard form. Not only did I find the x and y intercept, I also found the slope. So just because it says x and y intercept doesn't mean I can't find the slope too. So slope, once I divide everything by -1 and it's in standard form, slope is negative a over b, so negative 4 over 3. My x-intercept, if you recall, you would mark out the y. 12 divided by 4 is 3, so my x-intercept is 3, 0. And for the y-intercept, you would mark out the x, and 12 divided by 3 is 4, so the y-intercept is 0, 4. So when I go to graph these, my x-intercept is here, my y-intercept is here. If I want to find some more points, I could go up 4, left 3, or I could go down 4 and right 3. So here is your graph, and of course on the exam you'll have graph paper. Okay, here's the next graphing problem. Graph negative 4x equals negative 6y using the slope and y-intercept. So pause the video and work this problem out. Okay, so on this particular problem, slope and y-intercept means I need to be in slope-intercept form, which is y equals mx plus b. First thing I did was I took the equation and I flipped it around, and I made it negative 6y equals negative 4x plus 0. I added a 0 because I could tell I needed something for the b. I divided everything by negative 6, so it became y equals negative 4x over negative 6 reduces to 2/3. 0 divided by negative 6 is 0, so my slope is 2/3. My y-intercept is 0, 0. So I'm going to start my line at the origin, and my slope is 2/3, so I'm going to go up 2, right 3, or I could go down 2 and left 3, and there's my line. Okay, so number 3, graph negative 3 times quantity 2x minus y equals negative 4x plus 5y minus 6 using the x and y intercept. Okay, go ahead and pause the video, do the work, go ahead and graph it, and we'll check our answers together. Okay, so the first thing I did was I did the distributive property and got negative 6x plus 3y equals negative 4x plus 5y minus 6. I added 4x and subtracted 5y from both sides and got negative 2x minus 2y equals negative 6. I divided everything by negative 1 so that it's in standard form. 2x plus 2y equals 6. If I wanted to, I could have divided everything by 2, but I don't need to. My slope is negative a over b. So my slope was negative 2 over 2, which reduces to negative 1 over 1. Remember, on the x-intercept, you let the y equal 0. So 6 divided by 2 is 3, 0. And for the y-intercept, you let the x equal 0. 6 divided by 2 is 3. So my y-intercept is 0, 3. So when I go to graph this, my x-intercept is 3, 0. My y-intercept is 3, 0. My slope is negative 1 over 1. Down 1, right 1, down 1, right 1. Here's my line. All right, here's number 4. Graph negative 2/3 y equals negative 8x minus 2 using the slope and y-intercept. Go ahead and do that. Come back and check with me. Okay, so on this problem, the first thing I did was if I wanted in slope-intercept form, I wanted to multiply everything by 3. So I did, and I did the distributive property, and I got negative 2y equals negative 24x minus 6. I divided everything by negative 2, and I got negative 24 divided by negative 2 is 12x. Negative 6 divided by negative 12, or negative 2. I have no idea why I have, okay, I had to make some adjustments. Sorry about that. I divided everything by negative 2. Negative 6 divided by negative 2 is plus 3. So my problem is y equals 12x plus 3. So my slope is 12 over 1 and my y-intercept is 0, 3. So I would go up to 3 and put a point. And then this won't happen on the test, but my slope is 12 over 1. Well, if I do that, I'm going to go way off the graph up here. Or I'm going to go way off the graph down here. And this is my line. So it wasn't a great example, but it does show you how you have to adjust the problem. There won't be anything like that on the exam. All right, so this ends the Part 2 exam review. So hopefully if you've watched both 1 and 2, you are ready for the exam. Have a good day.